Do you want to be closing over 50 deals every single year, plus growing a team of 150 agents and more? And as well, having a travel and family work-life balance? Well, this call is for you. Today, I am interviewing Naleka. She is in Arizona, and she's just exactly doing that. She's been in the business for about 9 years. Definitely had to learn from the beginnings, as we all do, but where her business is today and the systems and process that she has in place, it's like nobody else. So definitely, stick into the end so that you can hear what she's been doing. She shares her story. She's been like, the hookie of the year. Again, closing personal deals, over 50 deals every single year, plus supporting, coaching, and mentoring agents that are on her group, and then traveling, which I love. We connected very well on that, traveling 2 to 3 months every single year. And she has active teenagers participating in their, school events and, family and friends. She's absolutely a rock star, and you do not want to miss it. And she's here to teach us how to do it. So let's get into this interview that I am super excited. Hey everybody, again, I am so thrilled for you guys to be here today and get to hear from a powerhouse. I know you already heard from my amazing introduction of who she is, but now you get to hear from her. I am so excited that you're here today, Naleka. Can you tell me a little bit more of just, who were you before real estate? I know it has transformed your life, but I would love for you to dive in and share with us your story.
Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it. Super excited to be here. And yeah, kind of jump right in and a little bit on kind of where I started and how I essentially even got into real estate. So I was a stay-at-home mom. My husband worked a corporate job. My kids were getting older, and I knew I wanted to get back in the field, start doing something. I've got a ton of nurses in my family, so I thought that was probably the path I was going to go. And then I ended up getting an opportunity to be a transaction coordinator for just a powerhouse real estate agent out here, Joshua Smith. So I started working kind of behind the scenes for him. He ran a team, and I was just seeing what these agents were making, and it blew my mind. I couldn't even believe it. So at that point, I knew I wanted to get in on this. I wanted to start going full-time in real estate as well. So I jumped in, got my license. My husband, who had been in corporate for 10 years, had recently put in his notice as well and had jumped in full-time to real estate. So we just kind of hit the ground running. I was number one on his team year after year, which led us to just growing our own team, which then led me to open our own, my husband and I, to open our own brokerage. We quickly saw that was not the path that we wanted to take. We built a business with a lot of freedom and a lot of predictability, consistency, and we knew we wanted to pivot and do something else at that point. So that then led us to where we are currently. And a couple months ago, we recently joined with EXP. We've got a team of just over 150 agents, and we're just working on growing that and moving forward this way.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. And I know you're like giving all this like brief, but just let that sink in. 9 years, and I obviously I knew you're connected, with Joshua, but I didn't know that you started as his transaction coordinator. I love it. I love it. And I mean, he's amazing. So you guys had a great support from the beginning, but obviously credit to you and your husband from seeing the vision, because you got to put work in, right? So I know a lot of people, especially going from the corporate world, if you had someone telling you what to do every day and showing up, and you have your job description and you get your license, and let's be honest, taking the classes, it does not teach you how to be a realtor.
Whatsoever. Yeah. And that's one of the things too, that kind of jumping into it. I think that's one of the things that was super helpful for me personally. We came in with a really solid mentor. We had more of a path there. It's very easy, like you said, to just kind of, you wake up and now you run your own schedule. You should know what you're doing the day before and roll into that and just have, a system and a process to it. But if you're coming from a different field, it's very hard to just get in and know what you're supposed to be doing. So I think the way we started off was definitely incredibly helpful to ensuring that we did have a process and a path, and we had a mentor, somebody we could go to kind of push through those times when you're getting into the business. Because as you mentioned, yeah, we've been in it 9 years now, but definitely been through some different markets, some ups, some downs, the mental game, trying to stay in this. It all is definitely, it's a bigger picture than just having to work on your business. It really does make so you work on yourself and your life as a whole, and it all just kind of bleeds into one.
And I think this is like a great segue because you run your business, but and if you don't run the business, it runs you, right? And I feel like you have like amazing systems that you put into place. But let's like kind of talk about a little bit the mindset, right? Even like, you deciding to go from a stay-home mom to start working a little bit on the side to now, hey, I'm actually want to run this as a business. And then your husband saying like, hey, let's do this together. I'm going to quit my job. And then, because there's so much fear, right? On the unknown, even though I know you had an amazing coach, but talk through a little bit of just like the mental, that you guys had to go through to make those decisions. I'm sure it was not all just like 100% clear.
I wish, even to this day, right? So yeah, with that being said, it's even, I think mindset is such a huge piece to this puzzle. We even implement it and teach it, and those are part of the trainings that our agents utilize as well, because it's so much more than, like I said, just you have your 9 to 5, you do your job and then you go from there. You have so many people's emotions on you. You have to know that the work that you're doing consistently, even though at the beginning you're seeing zero return on it, is going to turn in what you need it to be. And then even in just kind of jumping in and to backtrack a little on what you said there. So when I got into this business, like I said, I was a stay-at-home mom. I was used to being with my kids all the time. The house was always clean, dinner was ready, all those little things that you don't realize that when you jump into this, some of that's definitely got to change. And so I would be out 7 days a week. I was getting home after my kids were asleep. I was leaving in the morning before they were awake. I was leaving birthday parties and events and just missing things constantly, always on my phone for everything, because it's obviously our lifeline at that point. You miss a call, you miss money, right? So it's just so many little factors there it's kind of what led us to run our business the way we run it now, which we can get into a little bit. But I knew we wanted to have success. I knew when I got in this, like, I'm not going to another job. I'm not going to try something else. I'm not going to do something part-time while I figure this out. Like, this is what it is, and I will make this work. So I really hit the ground running. And after about 2 years of that, it's definitely, it takes its toll. And you're like, okay, I'm missing things that I cannot get back. I've got to start implementing those systems I keep hearing everybody talk about. And I've got to actually build a business, not just be an agent, just kind of burning and turning deals and missing time that I'm not going to get back. So with that being said, we really put a lot of different things in place to where at this point, I can do about 70 transactions a year working part-time and being out of the country a good 3 to 4 months out of the year. So it was not like that. I earned many a gray hairs before I had those systems in place. But that being said, it's definitely something that with the right partnership and the right, work ethic, honestly, the right mentality, it's allowed us to really build what we've created at this point. And then the last thing I'll say on this here as well to kind of tie it in is the mental game was something that I had to read so many books and books by other business owners and really get in the mindset to put myself in the framework of, if something bad is happening, if I'm having a hard day, if I'm having a struggle in my business, that's just because we're doing things to move forward. There's no way to have an amazing, sustainable business and an amazing life without some bumps in the road. So now I'm at a place where I hit those bumps, I just can reframe it to think, okay, I'm just growing at this point. I'm going to get through this. We just got to push through this piece of the puzzle and then kind of get to that next step.
And I love that. And I think honestly, it's just life, right? I mean, like, if you just take that mentality from the beginning, because we can go to the victim mentality. Everything's wrong. Everything's hard. Why is this all happening to me? And I think if all of us, if we look on our lives, we could go on that route, right? But if you just take like, yes, things are hard, but I'm learning, I'm growing. And I think, with you, it's similar thing. Like, since I've been, and I always love to learn and grow even before being real estate, but the last few years, my mental capacity of like podcasts and, and books and audio, I am an audiobook because I'm always on the go. So I'm like audiobook. And, it's just like, what I've gained, it's beyond anything that anyone could ever pay me. And not only it's reflecting on my business, but it's reflecting my personal life as well. Definitely missed a lot of things in the beginning because you just have to hustle. It is what it is. You're figuring out yourself, you're figuring out your business. I know you have, like, as I say, you can be traveling 3 to 4 months a year, closing 60 to 70, deals on your own with the systems that you created. But let's take like a little small bite size, right? Maybe a new agent that is just, watching us. They are on that, maybe that struggle with the systems and how to put things together. What would it be some of like the easier things to start building on your on your day to day or in your business that will help you get to where you're at today?
Definitely. If I and we definitely help new agents and kind of put those plans together too. So I think a little bit of it is helpful when you can tailor it to the hours in the day somebody has, what their skill sets are, how they like to lead generate. So I do think because there are just so many ways, honestly, to be successful in this business, there are 100 different ways that you could lead gen that people today in this market right now are having success with, right? So I think it's really about what you're going to put into this and then what your skill sets are to then kind of hone in on those. If I were starting from day one and I knew like I need a deal as soon as possible, one, if you are not living by your calendar and putting everything you need to do the next day on a game plan and you're just kind of waking up winging it, there's no way that's ever going to work, right? So that's the first thing there is to really sit down, get a mentor, partner with the right people, think about what do I need to actually do as a physical activity tomorrow in order, if it's early right now, right? Forget tomorrow, right? As soon as possible,
Yeah.
but have a plan going into that next day for what you need to do. And then really the lead gen source, just to even be super straight up about it. I mean, open houses are tried and true. They work in all markets. We're having agents on our team within 30 days have closings from open houses. They're running a good 3, 4, 5 open houses a week. Some of them are hosting 2 open houses a day. So again, I think it's what you do with it. There's also a lot of post things you need to do after the one activity. So I think that's where a lot of agents struggle is they get in a lead, they make a contact, and then it just kind of falls off from there. You don't follow up, you don't check in. My son has actually recently started working with us in our business. So he'll do a lot of my follow-ups and he'll message people. And the other day he asked me, Mom, you've messaged these people so many times. They've said nothing back. Are you sure you're going to send another message? And I said, well, hell yeah, baby, send that message. That's how you get business. So I think that's also what a lot of like your follow-up and your skill set to the lead gen activity you're doing also have to match. You have to have a process from truly start to finish, and finish is they either buy or you go out of the business because you're passing it on to somebody else. Like it's a forever thing. So that's one activity I would say right off the bat, even today, right now, if you need to go do something to generate. And then also people really, I think, don't put enough emphasis on your network, the people already around you, and just genuinely networking as well. So that's one of the things that we teach. It's one of the things that I took for granted at the beginning. Girl, I'd be so tired from working 47 hours a day, and then there was a baby shower to go to, or a bridal party or something, right? And at the beginning, I wouldn't go to those. And my mentors would tell me, you need to get out there and start going to these events. And it felt like it was like extra frivolous things. Like I wasn't dialing in from my office getting business, and they would tell me like, no, this is a way to get business, but this is how it's going to come to you. So that's something that for the last couple of years, I'm very heavy in as well. So even if this is straight from Gary Vee, even if you make a video of yourself talking about what you do, hey, it might be kind of weird you're getting this video, but just wanted to give you guys a heads up, remind you, and you send that to everybody in your contacts today, those little things that really maybe don't seem like something in the moment, they really do grow your business. So all in all, I would say get out there and do an activity that's going to move something more quickly, which in my opinion right now is open houses. Then your network. If you're not sure where to do or where to go, where to start, go volunteer somewhere. Join a running club. There is so many things already created. We do other things. I'm very heavy on social media. That's been the main source of my business since day one. I know people say it's for old people, but I love me some Facebook. That's where people with money hang out, even over LinkedIn. So I love me some Facebook. But those two are things that we teach and that I think are super important. And that's what allows us to have freedom in our life, because I'm not door knocking. I'm not doing open houses 5 days a week anymore. That's just more of a right now thing. But I also think the build up to be laying your bricks and building a foundation to your business, and not just burning and turning an open house, but you're following up properly. Now you're getting past clients. Now you're following up with them properly. I just think there's honestly so many things people could do to get business.
And I mean, pretty much you touched on the three things that have been my solid, since day one. And I try a few other things here and there, and I was just like, this is not for me. Let me go back to what works for me. And it has been social media from day one, open houses, and my sphere. And I feel like, I don't know how it was for you. Obviously, also, you didn't have that much time when you made choices of not going to some of those networking events and whatnot. And I kind of went through that because when I started, I had a full-time job. I didn't went full on yet because of fear and, and other things. But I do remember of just like that fear of not wanting to talk to people that because I was with the mindset, and I'm not sure a lot of people go through, like, I don't want to sell anything. I don't want to sell anything. And that blocked me so much until I was able to get over that. Like, thank God that it's behind me, but it's just like you're just being yourself. And I think when you get in the mindset, we're all selling something. It might not be necessarily, even you're selling your friendship. Does someone wants to be your friend? Are you fun enough to be around, right? It's just like when you get somewhere, but we don't think necessarily that way. So I had a long time of like issues with just the word sell. And, but that's what we're doing every single day, even if you are in the corporate world. Like, if you're going to get, into other ranks and all of those things, is how people know you, how well, and you're presenting yourself. So that's pretty cool. And you're doing so fantastic. Like, this is incredible. I already feel like, in some ways, sometimes, like, I'm only 3.5 years, so that's not too far yet. I'm still a baby in the business. And then there's other times when things, are rolling. Finally, this year I went full time, and it's been like the best decision I ever made. So it takes times, and we all have different journeys to get there. But having the tools, the support, as you said, it's really important. And kind of diving in, we're so excited to that you have been part of our family here at EXP and the Wolf Pack. And there's just so much that you already have to offer individually, and then as part of the group. And I always touch a little bit in here, if maybe your first time in the channel, and you're like, who's EXP, who's the Wolf Pack? And because we brag, it's just because it's real and it's true. It's not just for kicks. But we have this amazing opportunity here at EXP, that you can co-sponsor with two amazing leaders, right? So maybe you're here bumping into this video today for the first time, and you're like, who's Amanda, who's Naleka? But I also like both of the things that they're doing. That's the beauty that we have with our brokerage, that you can partner with both of us, get our coaching, get our support, be part of our greater family with the Wolf Pack, and and just help your business grow. So as we'll continue our conversation here, because there's so much more to learn, but Naleka's information is going to be all on the description, so you can always connect with her and see what she's all about, because she's just not fluffing anything here. Her social media is absolutely amazing, and you're going to be learning something. So now you're saying 150 plus agents on your group, which is amazing. Traveling, closing your own deals. How are you balancing it all?
Lots of systems and processes, and saying no to the right things. So one, on what you said too just a moment ago, I am so impressed by you. I couldn't believe how quick amount of time you've been in the business. When I was watching your things, I definitely thought too you were a good 9, 10 plus years in this. So super impressive what you've built in the time frame too. Very amazing. So I love my fellow travelers. So yes, with that being said, with kind of what we've built and how we've done it, and how to have the time for all of it, if you will, is one, you run out of hours in the day. And I used to burn and turn. I used to go to bed at 2, 3 a.m., wake up at 6 a.m., You can only do that for, a certain period of time. And one of the best things that I heard when I got into this industry is it's not what you say yes to, it's also what you say no to. So really protect your time. If I can do something that will literally save me 1 minute, I will do it because I know over time I'm going to continue to do that. So I'm very protective of my time and what I do with it and what I, kind of pour my time into at this point. We've got videos for everything. Same thing from Joshua Smith. If you've got to repeat it, you should have a video for it. So we've got everything really outlined at this point that we know what the agents need. We know what we're going to get asked. We know what they need to see, what they need help with. So we've got a lot of that structured out. When it comes to my own personal business, I've got some assistants that I partner with as well. I've got a full-time VA who handles my social media. So that's definitely a lot of what helps at this point with it. At first, it was definitely it was just me, and time blocking and having everything on your calendar like it's an appointment is incredibly helpful. You don't have to have people at first. It doesn't have to be all these extra moving parts, but VAs are very reasonable. You can definitely implement them into your business with structure and allow them to take over a lot of repetitive tasks that now you're not having to jump in for. He responds to a lot of our leads. He puts out all of our posts. So it's just a lot more systematic on that end. And at this point, I can just get cued in when somebody's ready to go or when there's some kind of update needed. So I save a lot of time those ways. And then really just being dialed in on the activities that I'm involved in. So I've got one of the main things that allows us to really be anywhere, anytime is I could literally decide tomorrow to just go out of town for a month and I know 100% my real estate business would be just fine. So the number one thing that does that for us is having showing partners. So they are definitely the biggest piece to the puzzle for me. They're pretty much like a right hand at this point that I've implemented into our business. Doing that amount of transactions, I can have 2 full-time, 2 part-time, honestly, even like 2 full-time, 1 part-time. And it's more than enough. So it's not this giant team to facilitate. I try to keep things as small as possible. We did the broker thing. I don't want to facilitate everybody. I don't want to oversee everybody. I don't want to be the decision maker for everybody under the sun. I want to have a small team and then just do what we need to do from here. So they're incredibly helpful in really taking off any boots on the ground activities. I don't go in the field really at all at this point, unless it's like a choice or like a family member. If the properties are insane, I'll get back out at that point. But really they do like 95% of that stuff. So it really saves me a lot of time. And then I reallocate that time into our team. So I do hands-on trainings with them. I'm very in touch with our agents. I tell them exactly what I'm doing to get business. It's all very black and white, but putting all of these pieces in place over time has definitely given me my time back. Certain things like at the beginning, and I talked to a lot of moms who totally feel this, like it's very hard at first to be home with your kids and your house is clean and everything's the way you want it to be, and then you're just like hoping you can catch like a lukewarm meal by the end of the day and nothing else is going to get done, right? So hiring eventually cleaning people, game changers. So all of those things that take your time up, if you can reallocate it and either do something that's making a memory with your family or making more money, that's pretty much how we operate on all senses at this point. So putting those things in place, it's not too much, it's not too overwhelming, but it's given me a lot of consistency, a lot of predictability because my appointments on my calendar are my appointments. I know I'm not going to get a call for a showing at 6 p.m. tonight that I have to go out for. So a lot of that's been really helpful, and just dialing in and making sure that I have time for my family, time for my clients, and time for our agents.
That is amazing. And I don't have a team, but I do have like partners, as you said, that like with my travel, just coming back recently and having someone to go show the places for my clients, because you don't want the business to stop, right? You want it to continue, so it doesn't your clients that has that feeling like, oh, you're out of town, so okay, I'm gonna wait until you come back, right? And I think I am still in that between that sometimes my clients are like, I'll wait. And I say, no, don't wait. I have people in place to go and help you, because a deal might not be here 2 weeks when I come back, right? So we don't want to lose anything. If you like a place, let's schedule, let's go and see them. How is that conversation with your clients in prepping them, knowing that you're not going to be in every step of the process? You're always going to be there, but not necessarily maybe physically there.
Yeah, definitely. So I have a super specific process for that. And I think that the upfront setup is very key to making sure your clients feel good about it. They feel like it's a whole team that's supporting them and not like you're passing them off because you're not available. So
Hmm.
as for the showings and kind of how we structure all of that, when I connect with a client and I have a consultation, one, since COVID, I do all my consultations virtually, works like a charm, never have kickback on it. People are busy. They appreciate it. It's quick, it's efficient. I have a consultation, so I share my screen and then I go over a lot of very important information. I get my buyer broker signed during that time electronically. So it all flows through. It's a very black and white buyer consultation. But in that consultation, one of my slides notes we're a full service team. And in that mentioning we're a full service team, I then advise that I also have a partner, never assistant, never showing member, always partner. I want them to know that we are hand in hand. And I love my showing partners. We work very well together. They are definitely, an important piece to my business. They're not just there because I'm not available and that's what I need, have my client service. So it's all very systematic in making sure our clients feel the value, they feel taken care of, they feel, I specifically in my consultation will tell them I'm not a one-man show, we've got a full service team, so you guys will always be very well taken care of. Here's my role, here's my assistant's role, which is literally just the transaction coordinator, but it makes it easier to outline the roles. They know who's going to be emailing them, it seems of value, and then I'm not just dropping a showing agent on them. And then I let them know I've also got a full-time partner who's going to be out with them as soon as they get ready to start viewing homes. We'll put a group text together, and then my partner's going to help coordinate the showings, and they'll be there to facilitate those for them. Never kickback, never any issues, never people surprised that I'm not the one at the properties. I have videos and I have specific trainings, all very quick, for my showing partners. So they facilitate things exactly how I want them to. In my initial interview with them, which is also very quick, I save as much time as possible and I've never had problems doing it that way. I ask what kind of car they drive. I look at obviously their social media, like those little things. And I'm not trying to be like any kind of, you don't have to be driving a Rolls Royce, right? But it needs to be presentable. And I
Hmm.
care about the entire picture that's being presented to my clients. I want it to be very professional, very on top of it. My agents know the first showing, you are 15 minutes early, everything's open, lights are on. Very, very basic, right? But in facilitating those things, they feel very well taken care of. And I've got so many 5-star reviews that talk about how much they love me and love our team for clients I've literally never met in person one time. It's
Wow.
crazy. We get referrals from them. I'm very referral based. So I kind of like fell into this model, if you will, doing the same thing that you were. I was out, we started to travel more. I needed to have people out with my clients, but it was an upfront thing. I had to tell my clients, I'm going out of town. This is what's going to happen. This person's going to be
Hmm.
here. If you need anything, it was like a whole thing. Now it's just more free because it's set up from the beginning.
Yeah.
But in doing so, I was like, gosh, these clients I'm not having any problems that I'm not the one out there. I'm still getting referrals. Like, I think I could like work with this and do this also while I'm in town. So that's kind of how it spiraled to that. Then I put that slide into my presentation and just kind of made it the process that it is now. But there are stats from NAR that specifically talk about the majority of clients would prefer a smooth and a systematic transaction over working with an agent that they had a good experience with before. So all in all, as much as myself and so many other people who have started this model feel like you think your clients want you, it has to be you, it's going to be different, they're not going to be happy because you're not there, the process is going to be different. Not at all. And I'm still very much their go-to because I handle the negotiation portion with them. I keep them updated throughout the process. I don't just kind of disappear, but everything that I'm
Hmm.
doing can be done from anywhere. And
Yep.
then I am very, and I think more than ever with AI, with everything coming into play, that personal touch, I do think is going to really start to set things apart. And I think that's how people are really going to continue to grow their referral business. People are going to have to really go out of their way because people are just going to voice text what they're looking for. AI is going to give them the best option. They're going to keep it moving, right? So I think that personal touch is still very important. So once my clients get in, they get settled, I do plan a time and I'll go, they still invite you to things, or I go to their parties, anything they invite me to, essentially, I definitely show up at. But again,
Mm.
that's a scheduled item on my calendar. And then I plan a time with them. And I do bring them a little gift, a little thank you. Like I have that moment with them once they're in and they're settled and they're not racing around to get their keys and get in and get the moving coordinated and did their utilities get turned on, right? So I think that there's still a very systematic process to follow to keep that connection as well. But I've been doing this full time for the last 5 years running this exact model. So far, so good.
That's absolutely amazing. And I think that's, for this business to be sustainable, right? I mean, like we hear of like, some of the stories and not saying this in a negative way for someone that maybe has been in the business for, I don't know, 20 years, 25, and they're like, on their 60s and they're still doing open houses and, systems, it's so important. And I know like in so many other trainings I've been, people talking about like how important it is to be on a calendar. And, so the sooner you can get that, as a new agent, the better it's going to be. It's just like otherwise you will be like running out of steam very quickly and then wondering why you got into this business, right? So systems, it's so important. So today, like what would it be like one little nugget? Like I know it's crazy to think the year went by so fast. But for someone that maybe it's feeling stuck, either if they're new or if they have been in the business for a while, but they're just feeling like, just taking their business to the next level, what would it be like any tip or any, advice that maybe you have like closing the year or prepping for, already in 2026? What is something that you are maybe helping your agents right now in your business?
Definitely. I think two important things. I think one, if you're stuck somewhere, if you're doing the same things and they're not working and you're just kind of rinsing and repeating and you're not really getting anywhere with it, I think that having a mentor really helped accelerate where we are. I don't think there's anybody that is successful in this business that doesn't talk about mentors and still have them to this day. So rather than kind of like reaching around in the dark and hoping you're going to do the right thing this time in the fourth quarter, I would absolutely reach out, get some help, find somebody who's going to be able to help provide a path, because there really is a path to this. There's so many ways to do it, but the fundamentals are the fundamentals. And that's one of the things that we really stick to as well. We really hone in on the fundamentals, not this new shiny tool. I think if you don't use AI, you're going to get left behind 100%. Like the efficiency is there. I think there are definitely tools and things you need to implement and do. But all in all, there's no, shiny pill. There's no magical tool there available. It's really, you just have to focus on the core fundamentals, which I would say if you are at this point and trying to drum up your business for the end of the year, one, this is where everybody's taking their foot off the gas. Everybody's going to start relaxing. Everybody's going to start getting into that holiday lull. I think that knowing as an agent, you're just at this point, which we've been in many places in this business. It's been like this for a little while now, but especially the last portion of this year, you're going to have to do more to get the same results. And that's honestly just, I think, what it is at this point. A lot of people are having success. You're not just kind of coasting or waiting for what's coming. You're still pedal to the metal. I will still work full force through the rest of this year, without a doubt. Even when we travel, I always tell people, all I do is change my office location. I get bored very easy. I can't just like hang around on the beach all day. It's beautiful, but like I want to be on the beach with my laptop. Like I like to do the things. So I think just staying in your activity and knowing like if you know you're on the right path and you do have that guidance there, stick with it. Do not give up. Write it out and keep your pedal to the metal. You've got to keep that consistency through the end of the year, because to be straight up, it's from here through January 1st, it's only going to be harder for business. Everybody's going to be doing all of their own things. The shutouts for job, like there's just so many outside factors that are also going to be a part of just what we're going to see these next couple of months. I just think you got to keep your head straight, stay focused, and just know what lane you're in and just double down on it.
Love that, because I feel like, especially in the last 2 years, it's been something that I'm also, because the holidays, people get distracted. So let the other agents be distracted, not you, because then you can start 2026 already running, right? When people are just start the year, think like, what am I going to do? What are my goals? Like start working on that now, like, what is you want 2026 to be, but then also, keeping the momentum, because that's just going to continue to take you to the next level, to the next year. And that's pretty amazing. Like it makes a huge difference. So don't slow down unless you want your business to slow down, right? And I don't know if anybody wants that. But I so appreciate your time. I don't know if there's any last words of wisdom that you want to share before we end for today, but I'm super, super grateful for all the wisdom that you drop in today.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me on, and I would just say, like, even if the season's tougher, if you know the path that you're on, just stick with it. Even some of the best are having a harder season right now, right? It's just about staying committed, knowing really what you need to be doing for yourself and your business, and then implementing things. If there's something you know you can or should be doing in your business, just start ticking away at those things. One of my favorite sayings from Joshua Smith is, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So just pick something that you can do to build your business every day. It doesn't have to be this overwhelming thing. And that's what we've done. And I promise you, over time, it definitely grows and turns into something.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much, everybody. Make sure you guys are going to descriptions, following her, maybe booking a call if you want to just do a little one-on-one and just see how, Naleka can help you take your business to the next level, because, what she's doing, I think we all want a piece of that, right? So make sure you're not staying stuck and just taking your time to listen to this. Take action. So once again, Naleka, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate you. Can't wait to meet you in person soon. So excited for that. I love that you're, again, part of the family. And, we're just going to continue to see each other and support each other and see what the next year brings to all of us. So I'm excited for that.
Super excited to meet you in person, and I appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you.